Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Hammer here. Welcome back to the channel, and this time welcome back to something a little bit different. Very different, I should say. This isn't like my usual content. I understand this is nothing like my usual content. I don't do reaction videos nor commentary on technology, politics, whatever. I have my opinions, people have their opinions. I don't think people want to come see me talk about absolute rubbish for 30 minutes. I don't really care for making these reaction technological videos or politically charged videos or whatever, but I feel like this is something which kind of hit a bit home to me on a philosophical level, and I wanted to talk about it because I feel like this is something which we may see cropping up. The saddest fact of life is that you will die. Okay? It's pretty sad. You will die. You're probably not going to live forever. Your chances of surviving are very minimal past a certain age of 90. And every day is a gift that you get to exist on this planet. I'm a big believer of that. But you will die. That is a fact. Everyone listening to this video, everyone who will listen to this video, even myself, eventually will perish. It's not exactly the scariest thing in the world, though. It's sad, but it's not the scariest thing, death. I think the saddest and scariest thing in the world that trumps death is the death of others. The dead do not need to worry post them leaving the world. The unfortunate ones are us, and I think many of us here are very selfless in the idea that we would choose death if it meant our loved ones could go on because we have such affection and care for them. I know I would in many instances, even for some close friends. I would happily sacrifice my life if it meant they could live happier ones themselves. It's just how a lot of people are. Because we have to remain, and that's the harshest part. We need to remain, and that's very human. It's very human. The stages of grief is, you don't follow them like some checklist. Humans are completely irrational when facing the fear of death and the death of a loved one, because how else could you act? It's why support systems are so necessary. The unfortunate fact, however, is you must accept that that person is gone. I'm a big believer in this, and I think dating back thousands of years, through poems, through stories, through music, through movies, there's been a constant thing around the theme of death, and that is letting the dead die. If you refuse to move on, if you convince yourself that they're still here, it's probably not going to have the best of effects on your mental health. You're also just not going to flourish as a human. You need to unfortunately accept the fact that death is real and death is the end. It's the shared thing amongst taxes, unfortunately. So when I saw this, I became quite unnerved. As I said, I don't really have an issue with AI per se. I think it's a long and arduous argument. People will draw the lines of using AI to whatever suits them best. The common 45-year-old who works in an office will not give two singular shits about using an AI. The musician, however, will. The artist will. But again, this is not a discussion on the morality of AI in those fields. This is using AI to gaslight yourself into thinking someone is still around, which I think is very evil. I don't use that term lightly, evil, and I'm very hesitant to use the term evil for a lot of things. I don't like throwing it around. But evil has a certain connotation to it, whether biblical or historical. You know, when you hear something is evil, then, you know, you get an image. And that's why when I saw this, I was quite unnerved by how evil this actually is. I think good intentions, absolutely, but as we all know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So, there's now a thing called 2Y. I'm not entirely sure if it's released yet. I saw this on Twitter. Honestly, the video starts out with a woman speaking to, I'm presuming her mother, a 3D rendition of her mother, remarkably good 3D renditions of her mother, talking about how she's pregnant and how she's going to have the kid. And throughout the video, we essentially see the child grow up. Charlie grows up. And what Charlie experiences is his grandmother, who he obviously never got to meet. And she tells him stories when he's 10 months old, and, you know, obviously the mother's getting some pleasure out of that. Of course he would, even some kind of melancholic sadness. You know, she cries when watching it. Charlie then grows up into a 10-year-old boy. He's talking about his sports, and again he's speaking to this grandma AI who's asking him about a bunch of, you know, stuff. Eventually Charlie hits 30 years old. He has his own kid on the way, and he tells the grandma AI about that. And obviously before Charlie was born, it cuts to the end where she's taking a video of a mom who unfortunately passes away, and she videos her all, and she turns her into an AI by describing what she can do, by describing her history, describing her past, etc. And it is concerning. It is concerning because there's a human element here I think we're all feeling, where this seems like some sort of dream come true. Okay, where it's like, wow, we can... There is something very heart-wavering about this. In fact, it makes me sad speaking about it, where, I mean, what a gem. What a beauty of design. You can have a loved one forever encapsulated in an app. And it's that last part there, in an app. And I feel like there's something very wrong about that, because you're not speaking to them. And it sort of soils the memory, in a way. Because AI itself is becoming a substitute for relationships, which again is such a cruel and horrible idea. But that's what social media has done, and I urge everyone to make offline friends, please, the best you can. But anyway, there's a Greek myth which I'm always reminded of when I hear about people having relationships with AI and ChatGPT and Grok, and that's their Pygmalion. And I think I'm saying that right, Pygmalion. But from my memory, because I learned this in high school and it's always just stuck with me, essentially a bloke who swore off real women. He was an OG anime fan, if you want to go that far, but he did not like real women. He didn't like how immoral they were. I don't think he liked how human they were. He saw them as flawed. So what he decided to do was he was a talented sculptor, and he sculpted the perfect woman for him. So he made this statue of the perfect woman. I can't remember what he called it. It was something like Gallo or Galate or something like that. And he looked after it. He treated the statue like an actual woman. So he gifted it. He kissed it. He did all sorts of things with the statue. Which, to be honest, is quite worrying, because you think about it now, like this Greek myth from thousands of years ago. And we're sort of seeing people do that with dolls and virtual characters and VTubers. But I'm getting beside myself. He did have a happy ending, if I recall, because I think Aphrodite brought the statue to life for him, but that's not really the point. I think the idea of someone swearing off human relationships to create this ideal person, and, I'll read YouTube comments from, like, otherwise normal people who say, I don't bother dating now, I just go talk to my chat AI character thing. And it blows my mind. It scares me, actually, because a lot of men do this with anime characters and, VTubers and ChatGPT, and women are doing the same with these fantasy characters, and the problem is you seep this falsehood, this unattainable goal. I mean, we're humans at the end of the day. We're not meant to do this. We need to understand, we need to learn how to deal with each other and the irrationalness of humans, and what's even worse is that this poisons how you view humans. It completely poisons it, because if you've got something that's emulating a human telling you this and that, and you're right all the time, and you try to take that into an actual real-world relationship, I mean, you're going to become one awful human. Or you're going to think the other person's awful because they're not bending to your every whim. It's sick, really, honestly, it's really sick. The point is, this is very scary on another level, because we are so desperate for any sort of immortality and for any sort of comfort. And I say this as a huge hypocrite, because I know I am as well. And there was a part of me watching this video, and maybe in you too, that actually made me go, wouldn't it be nice if I never had to deal with the thought of my mother dying, or my father dying, or my sister dying? And it's sad, because you do have to come to terms with the fact they will die, and you will have to grieve. But, the grieving process is something that really taps into your psychology and can make you a better person for it, and it can make you a better friend, it can make you a better partner. And this won't allow that. Trying to bring back, and I say bring back in quotation marks, a dead relative with AI is horrible. It's a psychological trap. It stops you from moving on. It stops you from being in reality. And, there's a lot of issues now where people are not living in reality, because we're constantly on the internet. And this sort of thing will encourage you to cling to just some sort of sick simulated ghost. And this algorithm, because that's all it is. It's an algorithm. It's a text-based algorithm, which is speaking like your loved one, which is acting like your loved one, but it's not your loved one. It's gonna warp and fuck up memories. I mean, AI screws up all the time. And you're not going to heal, you're going to be dependent on it, because the moment you feel a bit upset, you'll open the app and you'll speak to it, and it'll feed you the crap you want to hear. We've already got stories of ChatGPT psychosis because of the amount of times AI is programmed to say, this is correct, this is the right way. You know, AI is great for the odd thing here and there, and chatting to it and trying to work through emotions, but you can easily skew it. If you're dishonest with AI, you can easily skew it, and guess what? Humans are great at that too. And, you know, you're meant to remember people who go, and when you speak about them in stories to loved ones and to relatives, it brings them back in that sense. You know, there's relatives that I never met or I was too young to remember, and when I speak to my parents about them, you know, you've seen them light up. It's a different kind of emotion. It's like, oh, how lucky I was to be in the same time period, to experience the same time as these people. How sick it will be when those memories are condensed into some sort of algorithm that spits out false memories, or memories that maybe were incorrect, or maybe the AI gets it wrong, and sharing that with people who never met them. You know, these people are so great in our minds because we never really get a chance to be with them anymore, and it makes human relationships feel that much tighter. If you turn the dead into some sort of digital puppet, to me anyway, it's so morally wrong. I feel like if this stops you from ever letting go, and again, there's so many stories about refusing to let the dead die, and how mentally horrendous that can be. I know this video came out of nowhere. I will be doing my regular videos again, as per usual, with some more Let's Plays and some more cheery stuff, but this is something that really hit close to me, and I think we're at another turning point here with AI, and how people are going to use it. I fear that more people are going to go for comfort than they are going to go for discomfort in this problem. Anyway, guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Whatever you're up to, please take it easy, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.